Hello and welcome back. In today's video I wanted to touch on the power of intention and how the intention or setting intention can help us manifest things. My name is Marek Kromik and I'm here to guide you on your journey to know yourself and love yourself. I have heard about intention a long time ago, probably at the beginning of my awakening or spiritual path, so some 20 years ago, and many spiritual authors talk about it, and I feel like I have completely underestimated the power of intention. Not that I wasn't curious about understanding how exactly it works, it's just that I never quite got to understand how exactly it worked. So when I understood how simple it can be to actually set your intention every day, I started to notice all these shifts in my life, and it's been exciting. So why do we have a feel that we want to set intention for every day, for our some future goals or whatever it is? We have a desire to go from the point A, being where we are, to point B, where we want to be. Okay, and to not have intention means to stagnate, means to stay in point A. And to stay in point A, it's actually very simple. You don't have to do much. To residing in this point A, we feel that life is happening to us. So we are basically acting as a victim of the circumstance in some sense. Okay, we're not really taking responsibility for our life. And I've lived in that space for quite a while. So I know how that feels, and it's frustrating, and it was never really where I wanted to be, but I was there. And I was looking at other people, why do they have better life than I do? I want their life. And why is there, why is the grass greener on the other side of the fence? But, like I would ask questions like, oh, look at my neighbor's car or whatever. It's way better than mine. He must be rich, or she must be rich, or whatever. And that means that I'm thinking that I'm not rich, that I'm perhaps even poor, or that I cannot afford something. When we are in the space of that life is happening to me, we also often have this belief that hard work and effort bring the results that we desire. That's the old school. Like it used to be that, I work harder, I work longer hours, I bring more money, I will stay longer in the meetings, and I will connect to more and more people, and if I work hard, I'll have results. If I want to have better body, I go to the gym, I work really, really hard, I sweat it off, and I'll have results. If I want to lose some weight, I will eat certain food, I will stick to hard diets, and I will have a desired body results. That's the old school. A lot of this stuff, as a lot of you guys already know, does not actually work. That's just a state of mind that can be changed simply by daily intention to adjust your energetic vibration and your frequency. So all that is really is to focus for a moment, be in a state of awareness of what you want to achieve, what you want that achievement to look like. Where do you see yourself? So for instance, if you like your neighbor's house, imagine yourself that you too have this house. And so what does that feel like when you have this house? What does that feel like when you have this car, or this relationship, or this job, or this work, or the community that you really strive for? What does that feel like, the end result of that? Okay, and then stay in that state of feeling what that would feel like in some sense, in some future, and just stay in that state of what that would feel like. When you do that, you're shifting your perception from who you used to be to who you have the potential to be. And in that change of perception, your energetic vibration changes. As your energetic vibration changes, you change, your identity changes, you shift. You begin to grow new awareness, okay? Your perception changes. And like Albert Einstein says, we can't solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. And sometimes the easiest way to solve a problem is to stop participating in the problem. Focusing on problem oftentimes just brings just that, more problem. And at this point of your perception change, you're allowing new reality to come into your life. Now you are in a place of the point B, where you want to be. You're at the place of possibility. You're in the place of being in control of your life. You're taking responsibility for your life at that point. Just by setting intention, all this happens, okay? Where we want to get into is this effortless flow place. And the next thing I wanted to touch on briefly was being in the state of brain and logic versus in a state of heart and intuition. It's been proven by many researchers these days how powerful our heart is. Not to say that our brain isn't powerful, it is incredibly powerful. But what we want is not one or the other. We want coherence between the two. Okay? When we have this coherence in between your brain and in between your heart, we are approaching our inner knowing and we are sinking into our intuition. When we operate purely in our brain, we are in logic mind, we are in response, in effortful notion. So everything that we're doing, thinking, logically, rationalizing, using logic is basically like strategic guessing. Where when we use our intuition, we are setting ourselves into the space of knowing, of inner knowing. It's not just coming from within, it's coming from everywhere. We are connecting where we change the vibration and frequency. We are connecting to our intuitive mind that is connected to the entire universe, that is all present all the time. It's a consciousness presence where all the information already exists. It's like connecting to internet. You just put in the question you want to answer to and the answers will come, okay? So it's kind of like that. When we are in this state of intuition, in this state of trusting, which I've already also alluded to in a previous video where I was talking about gratitude is one of the doorways that lets us into this space of intuition. When we're in this space, we are capable of incredible manifestation. Setting our intention, using our intuition to get to our manifestation, to get to our results, is again another path. It's not the path, it's another path, it's another way, okay? And when we find this connection to our community, when we find this connection to ourselves, when we use our intention, it brings us to effortless action, to manifestation of desired results. Again, a lot more effortlessly. Does it mean that you're not gonna have to do anything? You can just like sit on the couch and eat bonbons? Not so much. You actually have to put in some work. And again, using intention is one way to set things in motion. Once things are in motion, you're going to need action plans. You're going to need to follow the action plans through. So bottom line, without intention, we are only responding to problems. With intention, we are actually putting ourselves in a driver's seat. We are in control of our life. We are directing our destiny. And as we set this intention, we want to make sure that we clarify it and refine it for a period of few days or weeks, however long it takes, as much as you can, because we often get what we ask for, actually. And sometimes we're not asking, I understand, but when we ask for something specific, we get that specific thing, oftentimes. And the refining or clarifying intention is important because the law of attraction works in a way that you get what you ask for, and making it more specific, making the picture more clear in a sense in your mind, making a picture of where you're trying to go to that point B, is that to make it so that we don't get something that we don't actually quite want. For instance, if you go to the restaurant and you order steak, you don't specify anything else, just say steak, okay? They may bring you well-done steak or rare steak or a medium well or whatever else. So take the time and say, yes, I would like a medium rare steak, and let's say you want fries with that, or you want a salad on the side, or you want, be as specific with your intention as you can be. Paint the picture. And again, you can refine it as you go, day by day, week by week, make it better. Once you have this, one of the things that you want to do is detach from that. What does that mean? It means that we have faith that we're going to get this or something better. Allow that clarification be there. And one last piece to that is that when we connect this clear intention with elevated emotion, we are creating coherence between the heart and the brain. Okay, so intention comes, we give it elevated emotion. What does that mean? How does that work? So elevated emotion, so emotion of love of some sort, energy of gratitude or appreciation and love, having that as a final product of how you feel when you received what you wanted. So imagine and feel, what would that look like when once I've received what I wanted, this being at this in this point B where I've wanted to be, what would that feel like? What would that look like? Who would I be surrounded by? Where would I be? Okay? So place yourself in that space and feel the feeling of that satisfaction of you completing this desire of yours. Okay? And so when you have that, you're connecting this intention, you clarify this intention, you feel like you've already done that. You have created coherence between your heart and your brain. Now the manifestation is actually starting to happen, okay? And again, it's like planting a seed. You have to wait a little bit, you have to take care of it. So throughout the time, every day, you bring out into your mind that intention, the clear intention, refine it if needed be, or wanted be. And then bring into your body for a moment, just close your eyes if you want. Breathe in, breathe out, and feel what that would feel like. Even right now, if you want. Feel what that would feel like to have what you want, to be where you want to be, to go where you want to go, whatever it is. Feel the feeling of what you could do when you have that thing or when you are with that person. What would that feel like? Now that you have that, do it over and over and over. In the morning, in the evening, as often as you possibly can. And then see how you're beginning to align your daily activities around what matters, what doesn't really matter. Okay, what takes me closer to this desire, what doesn't take me closer to this desire. Okay, so we're specifying our day. And so as we enter this heart-brain coherence, this electromagnetic flow, because brain functions are electric and heart functions are magnetic. So we're creating this electromagnetic field around us. When we do this, we're entering a flow. We feel more empowered. We feel more confident. We feel we have purpose, okay? So take your time and set that intention and refine it every day, repeat it over and over again. One of the things why setting the intention is important is that in life we get reflection of who we are, but we also get a reflection of what we believe we deserve. So who we are mirrors into our life. So if we're meeting people and seeing circumstances that are, not favorable to us, or we don't like people that we're meeting, or whatever it is, go within and ask yourself, where am I putting out this energy that I'm getting this in front of me? Okay, because People are mirroring to us what we feel inside. So this is where we need to take responsibility for our own actions, okay, and our own thoughts and our own feelings. When we think, when we feel, when we act certain ways, people are going to be drawn to our life that are going to mirror our behavior, okay? And so if we don't like who we're meeting, if we don't like what the situations we're getting into, that's one of the signs to us that something within us needs to change. I know that's a hard one. It mostly doesn't feel very fun, but it is, of course, it's up to you whether you do or not. But that's one of the signs that you can see that whatever you're seeing in your life that doesn't reflect what you want is that you first have to become that. Okay, so you need to get that identity shifted around it. And a lot of times what happens is that we believe that we don't deserve something or someone. Typically, most people have this belief that we don't deserve something or someone or some situation. And that is a subconscious block. So this is where a work needs to be done, such as hypnotherapy or meditation or a life coaching or something where someone may assist you to work on your shadows, to work on your inner child stuff. It's pretty intense, but there are amazing people out there these days that can guide you through this, and it takes very little time. It does not have to take a long time. Again, it does not have to take a long time. That's just a belief. Even though we've gathered up a certain personality for, let's say 40, 50 years or whatever, it doesn't mean that it's going to take that long to change that. It can be changed in a split moment. It can be a one conversation, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. You will shift your perspective, you'll shift your perception around what happened. One of the things that I found scary as I'm going through this process of self-discovery is that I didn't want to go back to relive the difficult, the traumatic situations that happened. Well, the point is that I'm not reliving them, I'm reviewing them. And there's a big difference. Yes, I can feel what the certain thing felt like when it happened, and it was really hard. But I'm also aware that I'm here in this adult body right now, and that what happened back in my childhood or in utero or young adulthood or whenever that happened with the traumatic situation, that I'm only looking at it now from perspective of adult and trying to understand what that little child or a young adult or the little embryo might have felt during that time of the crisis, during that time of that difficulty. Okay? I'm just looking and trying to understand what I as a little being have felt from my adult perspective. As an adult person, what would I do with this child that suffers? I'm seeing this child, that's me, suffering. What would I do with that child? I mean, my first thing is that I would want to hug it and say, you'll be okay. I got you, just to show compassion. And at that point, a lot of things, as I went through my own process, a lot of things actually started to just disappear. And what happened then, I had more energy. I had fewer energy leaks. So all these subconscious blocks that we have, they are energy leaks. When our energy leaks throughout the day, we don't have much of it. We don't feel like we want to create. We don't feel like we want to help. We don't feel like we want to become anything. We don't have any purpose. We feel down all the time and don't want to move. We want to just watch TV and chill out and veg out and maybe go hang out with friends to have some fun before we die. That's a kind of a low energy outlook to life, which does happen. But if that's the place that you don't want to be, this is one of the ways that you can follow to get to some different results. So as we find this person that we want to be, as we start to emanate more of this different energy, people will notice that. We start to meet more people that are more like the people that we want to be meeting with. Okay? So sometimes people end up manifesting their love relationship in the moments, literally. So intention is a huge thing. Work on it every day, set your intention, take a moment. You can draw it out, you can take pictures from internet, put it on your computer, put it on your desktop, make a little collage of things that you like, where you want to see yourself, what you want to have, etc. Keep that intention on your mind every day until things start to manifest, and make sure that you bring your feelings to that intention. By itself, intention, not working. By itself, just a feeling, going through feelings, doesn't do much either. Together, makes a huge difference. Okay? So, and how does this translate into martial arts? Let's get to that. When we use intention to block or strike or move a certain way in martial arts, we actually produce more power. And why is that? If I don't have intention in striking, my strike or blocks will be weak. Those of you who have done martial arts before, you already know that if you're, for instance, striking a target, you don't hit the target to where the target is, you hit past the target. So I'm hitting target past the target, okay? And my intention, again, isn't right at the target. My intention is behind the target. So I'm hitting behind it, so I'm going through all the way. And that is one of the ways where I use my intention in the striking, for instance, or kicking the same way, or blocking is the same thing. Another point that I wanted to make on the intention in martial arts is that when I shift my awareness into my center core, and I send my center core out ahead of time to where I want to be against my opponent, I would want to actually move past the opponent with my center core. So I imagine my body moves through the opponent's body as I move towards them, okay? So as I'm imagining moving my body through my target, through the body of somebody else, before I move, I imagine that that's happening. I've already by then changed my perception. Even at the first case scenario that I was talking about, striking and blocking and kicking, I had to change my perception to move my intention a different place than it was before, okay? So there again, as I shift my perception, I have changed my vibration and my frequency. I am moving out of the place of I am afraid to I'm going in. I'm taking control, okay? So, and then when we actually are, sparring with somebody or fighting for our life with someone, a lot of times in martial arts, people focus on the problem. Same way as when we go through our life, we focus on problems. For instance, in martial arts, a problem may be that somebody grabs your arm and you now want to try to free your arm from that situation. That's a problem. So focusing on a problem would be that I'm trying hard to get my hand out. To not focus on that problem is that if I have my arm grabbed or something, I'll just hit them. That will distract them from my holding my arm. Okay? Or if punches coming at me, that's a problem. Okay, I see the punches coming at me. Let's say it's coming in a circular way, so it's a hook punch. I know in a split moment as a martial artist that quicker punch back is a straight line punch versus a hook punch, okay? Takes short amount of time. So my reaction will be to sure put a blocking hand to the problem, but focus rather on the solution, which is to hit the person before they hit me. Okay. Now, again, that's in martial arts, and hopefully in real life you don't ever have to deal with hitting somebody else. Hopefully we'll just hug each other and love each other and be wonderful and create a good, nice communities. But things do happen, and I believe it's good to be able to know how to protect yourself. So now, if you're responding to a problem, you're always one step behind. Your opponent always has advantage. You're responding versus being in control. And so what we want to try to do is to bring our awareness, bring our focus, our awareness to where our opponent is not, where the power of our opponent is not coming from. So wherever it is coming from, we move away from that space and we focus on the place where their power is not, which is where we can hit. Sometimes when both hands are in action and somebody's pushing at us, let's say one side is pushing more than the other, then I will let the one side be pushed and I will hit from the other side because they're not paying attention there, okay? So there's several ways to use that, and let's take a quick look at this video. Welcome back again. It's my buddy Jeremy, for those of you who don't know. And we're gonna go over today is basically your intention to create the strike or block or whatever you're doing with your opponent just before you actually do it. So using your intent to already do what you want to be doing and being in charge of your movement versus letting them be in charge of the movement. So we'll go slow first. So let's say that Jeremy, jumps attack or something like that, and he goes forward, and if I stiffen up, I have very little control. If he keeps pressing, I will lose balance eventually. If he presses and turns me, I will lose balance somehow, okay? If I, first of, as soon as we attach and he goes after me, if I relax into it and I go wherever I want to go, I can pull back, I can go backwards, or I can go sideways. If he jumps again forward, I go sideways, or I go the other side, or I go even back at him. I decide where I'm going to go just before that happens. I send out my intention ahead of the time just before the attack happens, and that helps me to actually bounce that energy off, okay? For instance, one of the drills is that he will hold my elbows and I need to move my core in order to move myself without using my feet, okay? So I'll face him a little bit more, and if he's holding quite tight and I'm trying to muscle it and turn from my shoulders, even though I'm trying to turn my core, I'm struggling, I can try to go the other way. It's not going, okay? And hold as tight as you can, or as much as you want to with your relaxation as well. So as he's holding, if I release first, relax, and that relaxation will already affect him, and I will move. I choose that I'm moving, even though he may not want to, but I'm choosing to move. I still didn't move my feet. As he's holding, if I struggle, or if I'm trying again, I'm trying to move his center or with my center there, it's not going. If I let that go and I just turn, he moves, okay? So I'm sending intention ahead of time of my movement, and in some sense, as soon as his arms attached to mine, something happens, I'm already moving somewhere, okay? So staying with your opponent in this case, if something happens, again, you react, and you have already your intention in mind where you want to go, or don't try to play their game. That's basically where you're going to get hurt. So if he's doing whatever he's trying to do and I'm just responding one, and he has already second move in mind, go second something, I'm again responding, I'm putting myself behind. If I still wait, I'll end up in some predicament where I didn't want to end up, okay? So set your intention every day for every conversation and manifest your life the way you want it. And stay open to the magic and the universal interventions. Take care.